Kazuma Kaneko is considered the main character artist behind the Shin Megami Tensei series. And chances are that he has designed the most demons in the JRPG industry. And just a small fun fact to start off. He's inspired by and actually close friends with Hiroshiko Araki, the mind behind the manga JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. In his early 20s, Kazuma Kaneko began to work as an animator for Disney and Saint Seiya. Although it was a low-paying salary, he said this experience definitely improved his line art and overall drawing speed. After playing Megami Tensei, he decided to join Atlus and applied to work there in '88 at around the age of 24. And they quickly noticed his talent as he worked on Megami Tensei 2 as a character and demon designer, while also being responsible for the in-game sprite art and world design. And it's clear that he did a great job, as Atlus put him on the project of their new SNES title, Shin Megami Tensei. To clarify a bit, the series as a whole is unrelated, but does share similar gameplay and thematic concepts. And Kaneko noted that this was also one of the things that he found the most interesting. Especially the series' take on unpopular mythologies. To expand on, while most game companies play it safe by using Greek-inspired lore, Atlus doesn't shy away to incorporate Indian and Balinese mythologies into their games. Thus, he had no plans to leave anytime soon and continued with Shin Megami Tensei 2 and Kyukugi Megami Tensei while being an art coordinator for Majin Tensei. And it was clear that his love for demon designs began to grow, because he was the character and demon designer for the spin-off Devil Summoner series. He also worked on the first entry of the Persona titles. And he covered most of the promotional art for Devil Summoner Soul Hackers. In an interview, he said that he's inspired by expensive clothes and accessories. Furthermore, he stated that at the beginning of his art career, he found his art style clumsy and forced. But to be fair, this could also be because he was a self-taught artist, surrounded by peers who did go to art school. Actually, he doesn't like it when other people watch him draw. He even shooed away new colleagues like Shigenori Tsujima, who later took over the main character designer role of the Persona series. Nonetheless, before he did so, Kazuma Kaneko was the main artist for the second Persona game, Innocent Sin, which launched on the PlayStation in '99. Soon after, he began to work on the titles Eternal Punishment and Megan X. In addition, he expanded on the art while working on the next titles Make It Shao, Shin Megami Tensei 9, and the third installment, subtitled Nocturne. During his career, he admitted that he found the design process cumbersome, as gaming was swiftly changing to digital art. To elaborate, he wasn't really used to it yet. Thus, he drew the line art on paper sheets, stuck them together, and scanned them in before reworking them in Photoshop, adding color and refining the lines. As for his designs, he finds non-heroic characters doing heroic things the most interesting, and he noted that out of habit, his drawing expressions are also seen back in his art. Around '05, he worked on the digital Devil Saga, creating the illustrations and character art of the first and second Avatar Tuner games on the PS2. He also worked on Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner, Raidu Kuzawa vs. the Soulless Army, and the second game, vs. King Abaddon. Moreover, he also worked on Devil Survivor and Strange Journey. Starting to see a demon-inspired trend here? Well, that's because the demon artwork started to rapidly accumulate. Despite his character or art director roles, in almost every game he touched, he was the demon designer. Impressive as it may be, there were some designs which one particular company had problems with. He wrote the scenario draft for Shin Megami Tensei 4, and was the rule setting planner for Apocalypse as well. So what about his demon design process? He likes to use natural phenomena as inspiration, and multiple lesser known mythologies, drawing creativity from manga like Devilman, which also cites literature like the Book of Revelation. He also tries to add deep meaning behind certain aspects, which he hopes someday will be discovered by the player. However, he did note that he had no favorite demon or god from the many he created in his career. But okay, what's up with Mario? Well, here's the thing. Nintendo would complain about his designs a lot, asking him why certain monsters were naked. Then he'd explain that it would be weird for them to not be naked. And although Nintendo gave their consent on most of his works, it sadly was at the heavy cost of the nipples. That said, for Persona 5 he was a modeling supervisor. And in 2018 he worked on Persona 5 the animation as a demon designer. And on Zone of the End as the second runner, Mars, designing Inhert and Lloyd. He also did devil designs for Persona Q2, Royal, Shin Megami Tensei 5 and Soul Hackers 2. I'm fantasy light novel author GP Fuchs, and I like Kaneko's comment about listening to dance music while working. A specific habit that in one form or another, I think a lot of artists can relate to.